Hello, good evening Instagram. How are you doing? This is Kanishka, the editor of Professional Beauty India, and I'm very happy to present to you PB Quaron Live presents Young Guns of Indian Hairdressing. If you have watched our session earlier on in the morning, you already know what we are up to. But if you haven't, then here's the deal. Professional Beauty is bringing young talent from across the country in live exclusive interactions so that you get to know how they started, what inspired them, what were the challenges that they faced, what kind of training and education they had, and what were their achievements. So what was their journey before they tasted success? They will also be demonstrating their skills to us, and importantly, they will also be participating in some game-changing conversations with us on our panel discussions. So I suggest you visit us on professionalbeauty.in and take a look at our schedule and save the date and time for your favorite hairdresser. This is something you simply cannot miss. Now for our guest for this session, she is a powerhouse of energy and talent. Her name is Vaishakhi Haria, and she will be with us shortly. I'm going to patch her in, and then we're going to have some really interesting conversation with her. All right, so stay tuned. Give a shout out to your friends, family, colleagues, anybody who's interested in hairdressing and aspires to be a hairdresser to join us. There you are. Hi, Vaishakhi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. So good to see you.
Good to see you too. Am I audible? Can you hear me well?
Yes. What about me?
Yes, absolutely clear. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on our live chat. This is wonderful to have you here. And like I was telling my viewers, we would like to know from you how you started your journey and what kind of challenges you face, how you overcame those challenges, and importantly, what education and training you undertook to reach where you are right now. So let's start at the very beginning and tell us, how did you discover your passion for hairdressing?
I was never a very artistic person, first of all, but I just thought of exploring a different side of me, and of course, my parents were the ones to push me to explore that side of me, because obviously they know what you're good at. And my first ever training I joined very forcefully. I mean, I was not willing to join at all, but eventually I stayed there for a year almost, and I completed my classic hairdressing course with one of my trainers, and I started loving it. So it was a very different experience, because I didn't expect myself to be a hairdresser ever. And I always thought that I might become an engineer, or sit in front of a computer and do something graphic related. But yeah, that's how it is. I am a hairdresser now, and I'm loving it.
Right. So until you get your you sink your fingers into it, you won't know, and that's what you rightfully did. So can you tell us which training was this that you undertook, which academy?
So I had a trainer named Clara D'Souza, and I trained under her when I was 17. And I used to go to Villeparle for my college. I was in NM college, and her training center was in Andheri Lokanwala, the part of Bombay, western part of Bombay. So I used to go to college in the morning from 7 to 12 was the college time, and then from 1 to 6 was the training time. So from 7 to 7 I was completely occupied in training and education, of course. And she taught me the basics of hairdressing. I was the only student. It was a private training. It was not an academy or something. It was not like a very huge banner I got trained under. But being with her for such a long time, I got a lot of personal attention, which I definitely enjoyed. And I think it worked really well for me, because it was a one-on-one every day for the entire 1 year. So it was a wonderful experience learning under her. And after that, I joined a lot of different academies after I got out of this training center. My first ever international training was with Tony and Guy in Hong Kong. I will never forget that experience because it was my first ever international travel all alone. I just took a very bold step of going somewhere, and I was more like a home person before. And then I went to, I've done my training with Vidal Sassoon in London. I have done from TG Academies twice in New York. Yeah, it keeps on, you know, you have to keep on training yourself with something or the other, and our industry will never have something which is stagnant, so you have to keep on upgrading on a regular basis.
Absolutely, you cannot rest on your laurels. You have to improve
Exactly.
your.
Yes.
So it's interesting to know about you, how you started, and even as a college-going person, you would still go and enroll yourself in a course, and in spite of not being into it, you finally found your footing. Do you
Yes.
think it's a good thing for you that you started off so early instead of waiting for to graduate and then to take
Yes.
a yeah
Yes, yes. I
that
think
work?
it is one of the best things that I did. And luckily, I was in that age where hairdressing industry was just developing at that time. You know,
Right.
it was a sudden boom in the industry when I just completed my training. And yes, I think the earlier you start learning, the more faster you adapt certain things. Because I think when we are young, when we are like 16, 17, we have a lot of adaptability, efforts are lesser, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it worked for me also, and I thoroughly enjoyed it because when I remember when I completed my TY, all my other friends were just beginning to understand what they want, and I had already complete 3 years of hairdressing by then. So I remember that phase, you know, where you know what you're doing right and wrong. So yeah.
Right. So when you graduated, your career was already set. You already knew what you wanted to do.
Yes, yes. And that definitely worked well for me, totally.
Right. What happened once your training was complete? Once the initial training was complete, did you work in a salon or did you go on for more training?
So as soon as I completed the training, one fine day after coming back from college, I told my parents that, I think I'm ready to run a salon. So they were more than excited. They were anyway waiting for me to say something like this because they wanted me to get into this industry. And overnight, we had a salon ready. We saw a location. We finalized things. I have never worked in a salon. So that is one thing I miss in my life, that I think I should have worked in a salon just for my experience. But straight after my training, the salon was there, and I started running it along with my education and these other international trainings that I spoke to you about before. All that I did simultaneously running the salon. So both, everything went hand in hand. My education, the salon business and training, then everything went on together.
Right. Do you have a background in hairdressing or salon? Like anyone in the family owns a salon?
My mother is a makeup artist and hairdresser since about more than 35, 40 years. And she's a
Okay.
bridal makeup artist. She has her own academy. So yes, that's one of the biggest reasons she wanted me to be a part of the industry. She never wanted me to do the exact same thing as she's doing. She does bridal makeup and hair, but she told me to explore the salon side of it so that, we can multiply the branches.
Right, right. So there is synergy now between what you are doing. And
Yeah.
how was this whole experience of setting off directly with your own salon? This is something very few people do. And we would like to know from you, how was it? Like, what were the challenges that you faced?
I think it was a very bold step. I was just 19 when the salon was in my hand. It was ready. And say that 2009, having 1,000 square feet salon all by yourself, having absolutely no background of running a business. A lot of people who were already in the industry for a very long time, they also, had that opinion, you're so young. How come you have taken something like this? People used to tell my parents also that y'all are crazy to build something so big for a tiny girl. But I think it went very well for me. And one thing we all made sure as a family, even I have a partner, she handles the skin section of my salon. So we both worked hand in hand. One thing we kept very, very sure of, that we were always open to challenges. So whatever came in our way as a team, we had made sure to work on it together. And that is something that helped us to grow. Because you know what happens if we are stuck in something, and now when I look back at those 10 years, and when we talk about the opportunities that we grabbed and we missed, you go back there and you realize, okay, yeah, this was all worth it. We came as inexperienced people, but now I can talk to inexperienced people about my experiences. So it's a wonderful journey, I think.
Right. One thing I'm super curious about, I'm sure when you opened your salon and you started recruiting, 90% of the people who came were older than you. So how
Yes,
was the whole hiring process?
that was crazy. I think when I hired, I had a team of 20 people, and all were elder to me. And it was very weird in the beginning, because I am talking to people about how well they are at their work, whereas I am completely zero, because I had absolutely no experience. All I had was a training background of 1 year, that's all. And when I was recruiting all of them, I only made sure to tell them one thing, that we are family. And I made sure to tell them that if I ever go wrong, they have the liberty to tell me. And I made sure to get those people in my team who would think of me as their co-worker and not as their boss, because that, in fact, that helped me grow. And I remember in the initial days of the salon, I had hairdressers working with me with more than 10 years of experience, even barbers. So I used to go early or stay back late after working hours, and they used to teach me. So I used to get trained under them, a little bit of mistakes here and there. And I think it was a fun experience for me.
Right. So you mentioned about your journey as a hairdresser, how you undertook so many trainings and finally started your salon. How was the experience of being a salon owner over these years? What do you think are your key takeaways?
I am a person who, so it's a strength that I have, that I am good at taking good, quick decisions. And I think being a salon owner requires that, because there comes a point where you have to make a lot of choices, which product to use, which tools to buy, which equipment, what kind of stylist is the right stylist for you, what is the strategy, what is happening in the next 3 months, what are the new collections coming on. So somebody with a very quick mindset can is always helpful to keep stay ahead of the game, I would say. So I think that quality which I have, which I've developed also, I think it worked for me. And being a salon owner became in fact, it became good for me that I was a salon owner, because if I was in a job and if I was taking such quick decisions, maybe my employer wouldn't have liked it. So I think, yeah, this is good. I think it's nice. But yeah, we all develop over time. So yes.
Is there any kind of decision that you absolutely hate taking?
Um, Not really, but I remember taking up a client when I was completely inexperienced, and we were doing straightening. I will never forget that day of my life. And I was completely inexperienced. And whereas in my salon, in the initial days, I used to do only cuts and I was good with color, but other texture services I used to avoid because I wasn't great at it. And I remember taking a client, and the hair frizzed out. And I'm sure every hairdresser goes through this problem, for sure. But for me, that day was one of my worst days. I should have trained myself a little more and then taken such a bold step. But yeah, we all learn from our mistakes. So yeah, it happened.
Right. So how old is Splash now?
Splash will complete 11 years this year.
Okay. And what made you get into barbering and men's grooming? Like, how did Mantastic come into the picture?
Fantastic. Okay, so that was an experiment which Vivek and I wanted to take. Vivek Shambatia, he's also an amazing hairdresser, and we thought that people are opening salons left, right, center, but there is no dedicated space for men. So we thought that let's go out experiment, because there are local barber shops, and then there are salons like Splash, like unisex salons where men women both come together. But there is hardly any salon which caters to men with the same level of expertise like unisex salons. So I thought, and Vivek also thought, that I think we should explore that area because nobody has ever gone there, and it should be tried and tested. So that's how we came up with the idea of Mantastic, and it's a boutique barber shop. We've made a very modern version of a salon, but it's only dedicated to men. So in local small saloons, when you prefer to enter, there is a little bit of a hygiene factor sometimes ignored. Sometimes, there are a lot of factors which are the cons. So we've tried to make the pros of our salon as and trying to make a better space. We got an amazing response. I didn't even expect that this kind of response will be there in a span of 3 to 4 months. And we were also surprised how we get such an amazing footfall only through social media promotions. We didn't even go out anywhere to promote the salon. All we did is make an Instagram page, made sure it looks good, and we showcased our work, and 90% of our footfall was from Instagram. So that was another big surprise for us. Yeah, it's now we will be completing more than 6 months with Mantastic, and if things go well and if after lockdown everything is fine, we plan to expand also.
Right. I'm sure things will be back to a new normal, and you will be able to adapt to that.
Yeah, I hope so.
So the thought process behind Splash and behind Mantastic are completely different.
Yes.
How do you ensure that everything is synergized and in place, and the whole brand essence of each of these brands remains in place? How do you ensure that?
So fortunately, I've been very lucky to have a great team always to support me and to back the vision that I always have. So in Splash, the way of working is completely different from the way we work in Mantastic, because they're two different themes, they're two different concepts. So again, in Mantastic, I have Vivek, who just shares my vision, and we both are in alignment with everything we do. So creating that culture of the barber shop, which had to be modern and unique, but it was still a barber shop, was a team effort, definitely. And in Splash, we have successfully created a culture over a period of 10 to 12 years, because of the initial 3 years of commitment that we gave in the salon. So whenever I meet hairdressers who want to open their own salons also, I prefer and I choose to tell them that first 3 years, as in first 1,000 days of any venture that you do, are the most crucial, because they will create a culture that either you like or you dislike, and that culture remains almost forever. Of course, you have your tweaks here and there and ups and downs, but there is a crux of everything, and that is the first 1,000 days of how you have committed to your space. And yes, we did that. I remember my parents, of course, when you're 20, 21, you want to go out, you want to party, you want to do this, that, college is there, your friends are there. I was the only one working already, while others, all my other friends were studying and enjoying. I remember the days we fought, like I fought with my parents, I want to go out partying, and they're like, no, you have to work. So, but it's all for the good, eventually. That time you hate them for stopping you, but then you realize, no, it's working for you. So yeah, I would say you have to be there. You have to be there to create what you want.
Absolutely. So the culture of a particular salon is almost like the family values you have. It's unique
Yes.
to every family, but
Yes.
yeah, it's the members that put the family values
Yes.
together. So same with the culture. That's a very nice thought to leave for our audience, that if you want to build up a really successful salon business, you need to have the right culture within it.
Absolutely.
So you already spoke about what plans you have for Mantastic. You want to expand if things are fall in place. What about Splash? What are your plans for Splash?
So I really honestly don't have plans to expand Splash into multiple branches, but I would definitely prefer a bigger space because most of the times we are falling short of the space. The salon has become super busy. We are not able to cater to all the appointments that we get. So if in that whole space, if I get to expand and add in more hair stations, I would love to do that. But in this league of Splash, as a part of so many thousands of salons, I choose to be different over being too many. I think there are salons which keep upgrading, and then there are salons that are completely different in their own way. They have their own culture. So my vision for Splash is one Splash for now, but I want to keep myself away from thousand others. So that's what I have been able to achieve so far. And believe me, it's a tough thing, but it's working for us. And I think I'm very happy with one salon for now.
So Splash has carved a niche for itself, and you are very happy with that.
I think so, yes. And I think so, what we have thought of and what we have implemented, it is in sync with our vision. So yes.
Right. You have been undergoing a lot of training for hair. Did you also take any specialized training for salon management?
Salon management. So I completed my MBA from Wellington Institute along with running Splash, and I took up general management as my specialty. So whatever we learned through that course, I always made sure to convert it and use it for the salon management. I have never attended any particular management courses as such, but I think I read, sometimes I read books, I read a lot of articles. I come If I find somebody who is studying and has a good textbook, I borrow it and I read it. So yeah, that's how we keep working on the management. But yes, definitely not taken any particular courses for management yet.
Right. But whatever other things you learn about management, you try to apply to your salon.
Yeah. We can try to relate it as much as possible, because see, eventually management is management. It's just that the product or the service changes. So that's how it worked. And yeah, I used that background to run the salon.
We all know that there is a spurt of salons across Mumbai, especially, and even the country overall. And there is a scarcity of skilled hands. So, a lot of salons face the problem of attrition. Do you also face it? And if you do, how do you handle it?
It's a worldwide problem.
Yeah.
So like I said, everybody that joins my team joins me at least for a span of 2.5 years. That's what we talk about in the first day itself of the salon. And I think my team, I've never had major issues with that as such. I would say the problem would be only 20%. But if we keep on consistently training them and fulfill their dreams, I think it just works. So that's, like I said before, I don't want to be a salon where I'm just employing people and just making them do with a set of 10 rules. In my salon, they are all okay. They are all allowed to do whatever they want. They just have to get it approved first, and they can try new colors, they can try new haircuts, they can try whatever they want. So that keeps them, that and in my salon, individuality is one of the most important things that we do for our stylists. So we promote the stylist, we don't promote the salon. And I think that is also what aspiring hairdressers love. And yeah, that's why it's never been a major problem for me for now.
Right. So you give them their creative freedom and their space to experiment.
Yes, and I think for all hairdressers, it's very important, because otherwise, if I've taught 4 haircuts to somebody, and if I tell them every day just do these 4 haircuts, they will not survive for themselves and for the salon. At the end of the day, even the salon loses business through that. So yeah, they're all free to do what they like.
Right. So you ensure that there's no burnout for them. They enjoy what they're doing, and
Yes,
yeah, those who of you want to leave will leave anyways.
exactly. That's what. Yes.
Right. You also work quite closely with L'Oreal Professional. So can you
Yes.
tell us more about that?
I am in the identity artist team of L'Oreal, and we are the artistic ambassadors for L'Oreal. And we train hairdressers. We go across the country. We are a set of 7 hairdressers who travel across India to teach hairdressing for aspiring hairdressers. We do seminars for them. We teach cut and style. If you know about Indian Hairdressing Awards, we have done shows for Indian Hairdressing Awards. We've done artistic shows. It's been a journey since 2013 or 14 with L'Oreal, and it's an amazing experience because the kind of exposure I've got after being a part of Identity Artists took me to another level altogether. So, like I was here, I pushed myself to be here, and now it's a major jump after joining them, and I totally love it. It's a wonderful experience to be a part of this. I must have already trained more than 2000 hairdressers by now,
Wow.
doing shows for them, trainings for them, master classes for them. And yeah, um, I must have gone to almost all the states in our country also to teach. So it's a wonderful experience.
So this is a new aspect of your professional facet that you have discovered of being an educator. Do you plan to take it on individually, like start your own academy?
I am already consulting a couple of brands. I don't want to open my own academy as such. Even if I do, it will be a very limited academy where I can be there to teach. Because again, like I said, I purely work on culture basis. So if I want to train somebody, I want to be there for the stylist. I don't want to just make a module and hand it over to other people to train on behalf of me.
Right.
So that being very complicated and the time restrictions that we have because of that, um, it's I may not do it on a large scale, but yes, I have been training a lot of hairdressers. They come to me, they work with me in the salon for a couple of months, they get trained and they move on. So that I have been doing. And I've been consulting certain brands also. Last year, I had done consulting for Enrich salons also, where I trained a lot of their senior stylists on hair color, artistic color. So I like doing all of that. Up my own academy, I may not. It's a, it's a lot of commitment.
Right. Given the current situation where we are all under a lockdown and the salon industry is especially under a lot of focus, what
Yes.
would be your reopening strategy for both your salons?
Of course, our industry, I have been watching on Instagram, and our industry has adapted this change so amazingly. It's worth an applause, to all the hairdressers, whether small, medium, large, it doesn't matter. But everybody has taken amazing precautions to survive this whole. I know it's a very bad phase, and people may lose out on business. A lot of negatives are there, but there are a lot of positives also, because our industry to an extent had grown too fast, and we had stopped adapting certain changes which were important. Like now 100% of the salons will take disposables under consideration, whereas before the lockdown, I would say more than 60% of our salons never used it. So
Right.
this will definitely bring a positive change in the industry, and I would like to look at it that way, because the kind of hygiene that was compromised in maximum salons will be taken care of. In terms of business, yes, I don't know how things will be after the lockdown, because nobody can judge that right now. Nobody is an expert on this subject because everybody is going through it for the first time. But I have also taken my precautions. I have ordered all the sanitizing equipments. We have in fact, during the lockdown, I have disinfected the salon twice already. So that, even if the salon is closed, it shouldn't catch on to certain things in a closed environment. So that also is there. We have taken precautions. My salon team is already trained on how it will be in the future. So we have made a pointer. We've made almost a 70 to 80 pointer presentation, and my team is already trained on that. They're just waiting to get back to work now. So basically, we are all ready. We just have to
Yes.
get back to work now.
Right. All of us are very eager to get back to work. How
Yes.
are you keeping in touch with your clients?
My clients, yeah, on an average, I get almost 8 to 10 calls a day that they need a haircut, they need their touch ups. But otherwise, through our salon page, we are a little active. We are not fully active right now, but we are there. I am fully active on Instagram. So if ever any client is messaging me, I make sure to reply to all of them. I have taken a couple of live sessions for home care, for from home, on how they can maintain what they already have. Yeah, so more or less we are in touch with them. And my salon manager, she has been very helpful. She has taken the salon's phone home, and all the work she is doing from her house. She's answering calls, she's preparing the clients for future appointments. It's going on, so we haven't fully stopped working as such.
Right. That is really the need of the hour, to
Yes.
assure the client that things will be back to normal, and that
Yes.
you're taking all the necessary safety and hygiene precautions.
Yes.
You have been mentioning a lot about Instagram, and we are right now on Instagram. So tell us, what is the importance of social media for a salon business?
I would say in 2020, right now, it's your biggest source of marketing, which is free. I mean, you can showcase your entire life on a platform. I don't think anybody, my grandmother is also on Instagram. So everybody today has the app in their phone at least. And initially we used to have those, those albums, where you used to click pictures and put those offline
Yeah.
prints, everything. You don't need to do anything of that sort right now. If your work is good, if you are good at certain things, you have to tell people. Because if you go back to 10 years, 2009, 10, maybe there were 5 salons per locality, and now there are at least 50 salons per locality. So now the clients
Right.
have options. So before joining you or before entering the salon, they want to know about you. And how will they know about you? It's through Instagram, it's through Facebook, it's through any sort of social media. So for me, Instagram is very important, and I give equal amount of importance to Instagram for myself and for my salon. So both the pages, if you see, they are simultaneously running, and they never stop. So I would say in the last 5 years, our business has increased by 20-25% only because of Instagram. So
Okay.
why not?
Yes, it is quite the in thing right now, and the whole idea is that you should know the art of using Instagram effectively for your business. Do you also allow your employees, especially the creative team, to use Instagram or any other social media to showcase their
Yes.
work?
Yes, they are free to do whatever they like on their page. They are only supposed to tag the salon. There are no such rules of not posting or not showcasing their work. But all they are supposed to do is post and make sure it's just come from Splash. That's all. And they all have their individual handles, and they're also running their pages. It's completely fine. We're okay with it.
Great. That actually adds on to the authenticity of the brand as well, because
Yes.
you get tagged in so many posts. That's
Yes.
really amazing. It's new age marketing, so you got to
Absolutely, and
go
it's
with
free
that.
of cost. That's the best
Yes.
part. Now today, if
Yeah.
you want to put up an ad in a newspaper, I mean, you pay thousands of bucks, and in this you can do it absolutely for free. And if your work is good, honestly, you will grow on social media. That I can assure you, because I remember the kind of work I used to put it in 2012, 13. I think when Instagram was just new, and the kind of work that I'm putting now, I myself have evolved. So
Yeah.
we realize how things have changed over time.
Right. What do you enjoy the most in hairdressing?
I love color. If
Okay, so
you, it's just hair color. I just love it. Yeah.
And what are the trends that we should be looking forward to this year?
2019 was all about minimalist color. It was all about natural looking color. And I think it will be there for another 2-3 years because people have understood the importance of fashion in a very minimalistic way. So,
Yeah.
in our country, hair was never a style statement, and I don't think hair will fully ever be a style statement because the Indian culture has a lot of focus on clothes, on jewelry, on makeup. So hair is an accessory to a lot of us. So hair will never be a complete style statement. Like for example, you go to any Asian country, like say Hong Kong or China, you see all crazy haircuts going all over the place. If you go to UK or US, they have amazing hair colors, and hair becomes a style statement for all of them. If you see their clothing, it's very simple. They either wear a black, white, gray, or tan. You know, they just have monotones. But in our country, we are too colorful. So in that limited space to create a beautiful color, I think I'll just love doing that.
Right. So this year, what kind of color palette do you think is going to be in?
It's going to be neutral palettes. It will be closer to mahoganies. It will be mocha tones. Cooler tones are, I think, my recent favorites. And mahoganies are my recent favorites because that goes well with Indian skin also. I think, yeah, those are some of my favorite palettes at the moment.
Great. Now, for the moment where you get to deliver an inspirational speech of sorts, I want you to tell aspiring salon owners and hairdressers out there watching you right now, what are the most important things that they should be keeping in mind when they embark on their career as a hairdresser, or when they think of starting their own salon. So dish out as much advice as you can.
Okay, I'll keep it crisp and short, but yes, I'll try to convey the message. If you're a hairdresser and you are just new, like a newborn baby in the industry, there will be tough times. Don't worry. You have to keep exploring every possible side of yours because you yourself will be surprised at things that you will see from your own self. And for hairdressers, I would like to say that keep experimenting. If you have learned certain set of rules, make them like your baselines, but add your personal touch to everything you do because if the rules were so important, then today all the hairdressers would have been successful. But we have successful hairdressers and we have not so successful hairdressers. That's only because you don't add your personal identity to it. So today, if I am going to do a haircut and after 6 months the client is going to come back to me, and if they have gone to another hairdresser and come to me for another haircut, I will instantly come to know because my signature and uh, my personality has gone from that client. So create your own type of impact in the industry. Do not completely change yourself because of who you are you will grow. It's not because you want to be like somebody else, because of course we have amazing stylists in this industry. Take inspiration as much as you can, but add your personal touch to it, and that's how you will do wonders. And in terms of salon owners, I think passion is a huge necessity. I mean, just because you have started a salon, you have a team of 10-15 people, that does not mean the salon will grow. Like I said before, the first 1,000 days of your salon will either make it or break it. And if you do not give your 100% every single day, um, it's not going to work that way, because now we have a lot of competition and we have to make sure to stay ahead of the game in some form. So don't go around being the best at everything. Pick one thing, pick one of the best services that you can deliver and grow that. So automatically your 50 other services will get pushed on its own. And I think that works for Splash also. I have a live example of my own salon. We love doing hair color. So people come to us for color. and automatically the other services are taken care of. So we don't have to really do color, do haircut, do treatment, do facial, do pedicure. We never do that. You have to grow in one thing, like they say, you know, jack of all, master of none. Be a master of something, and it will work for everybody.
Right. So if you have one flagship service that you are known for, the other services will automatically be taken care of.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So that brings us to the end of our conversation, Vaishakhi. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, and you
Thank you, Kanishka.
you were very eloquent in your answers and gave out some really valuable advice. Before we sign off, I'd like to tell you, all the guys who are watching us, a lot of them want to say hi. So there is Lata Salon, there is Shireen Merchant, she says hi.
Hey, Shireen.
There is Ombre the Salon, hi Shireen. There is Mirror Salon Academy, there's Shetali Shah, and loads of people out there who are sending out emojis to you and waving out to you. So thank you so much for joining us. It was lovely to have you over. And
thank you very much.
For
Thanks
the
for
reopening.
having me. Sorry?
All the best for the reopening of the salons.
Oh, yes. All the best to everybody for the reopening of their salons.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.